And we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sleep Deprived Parents Bullet Championship. It will be getting underway in just a few minutes here. I'm your host, Kamryn Hellman, and with me, my co host, Neil Bruce. You know him, of course, as the co founder of the Chess Punks community on Twitter. He has done a lot as far as connecting other adult improvers. Neil, welcome. So glad to have you here. Are you excited about this event today?
I'm excited. I feel honored that Nate invited me. I'm not much of a bullet player. I feel like it's a totally different game. But I know you're a bullet player, and I have some thoughts about bullet that are, I'll share the positive ones. And so, yeah, it'll be good. We're trying to get a hold of Nate. If you're watching and you're like, how do I get in here? We're asking the same questions. I'm trying to ping Nate. We're trying to ping his, we've got a bat channel up trying to get his attention. So, soon as we know more, we'll tell you guys. If anyone in the chat has decoded the link to get to this tournament, then you should put it in chat because we're trying to figure it out too.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. And what the world? Where is my chat? Why is it not? Did OBS update? This is so silly.
Let me look.
Guys, OBS, where is it? Hold on.
It says that you're on.
Okay, well, it's not showing up as a doc in. Oh, okay, I'm so confused. It's fine. I'll just pull it up on my phone. It's fine. Everything's going great.
Yeah, that this is you know.
Yeah, well, guys, we saw or the Sleep Deprived Parents Bullet Championship. This was started or kind of spearheaded by Nate Solon, who of course we know very well on this channel, fantastic FM coach, course writer, and the winner, by the way, of the tournament today, first place, generously sponsored by Chessable, will be receiving a $75 credit to Chessable, and second place gets a $25 credit to Chessable. So definitely shout out to Chessable. And if you are on Chessable, you can also check out my course. Link will come up if you type out exclaim course. But that is not what this is all about today. We are trying to figure out what's happening. This is
I have an update.
okay.
So Todd, aka Strong Chest, shout out to Todd, said in the chat that it isn't set up yet. But it says it just posted. So let's try to find it.
Okay, let's refresh.
Thanks, Todd. Oh, I see it.
Oh yes, we're here, and I see two of them. I wonder which one. And I'm sorry the stream looks kind of funky right now, guys. We will get it figured out shortly, and I will also find my chat shortly.
I would guess the 6 because time zones.
What time zone are you in, Neil?
I'm Eastern, but I see a choice between 6 and 7. Is that what you see?
I see one between 8 and 9.
Wow. Try the 8. Try the 8.
Okay, I probably shouldn't join it. Hold up. Okay, it didn't actually join me. Great.
Oh, so Nate's playing?
Yeah, I believe so. Okay, so it starts in about 6 minutes. So that's actually perfect. We'll have plenty of time to talk about Wait, what is this game that's happening? Okay. We're getting there. Okay.
Yeah. We're like 100% better than we were like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah,
So
this is
major
perfect.
progress.
We'll have time to chat about our thoughts on Bullet. So Neil, you're saying you don't really play Bullet that much. Do you play much Bullet at all? And what are your thoughts on this time control specifically with the increment?
So, yeah. Well, there's not going to be an increment, right?
I think it's 1+1.
Oh, well, okay, 1. I have never once played a bullet game.
Oh.
I'm trying hard to come up with words that are positive about bullet. Um, I mean, I'm sure that it like makes you know openings. Yeah, I'm not a huge bullet player, so let me hand it over to you.
Well, my chat knows that I play probably too much Bullet, and in fact, I did some really great preparation for this tournament last night by tanking my Bullet rating about 100 points and then building it back up to where it was before, and then stopping at about like 1 a.m. So the sleep deprived part of this tournament definitely appeals to me. Yeah, it's definitely a different skill set for sure. And the chat's saying you'll never know if you don't try, Neil.
Well, yeah, like, it's probably like a great bottle of wine I haven't done. But, um, I will say let's talk for a couple minutes about both this concept that he came up with, the sleep deprived thing, and then more about bullets. So, I will say I've kind of done all 3 phases of my life where I've, um, tried to study things in life before kids. Let's just say that is the time to do it. I have, I joined my first tournament when I was 40 and I had 3 kids, all young and time consuming, and that's what I think this tournament is designed for. And now I'm old, and old people don't sleep well either. So, like, really, the lesson is stay Cameron's age for as long as you can.
Unfortunately, I don't think that's possible, but I do like that you are relating to both parts of this tournament name, both the parent part, although it's been, a little bit longer than some of these younger parents, and the sleep deprived part because, everybody who's an adult is sleep deprived.
Yeah, that's probably true. Uh,
And
But I
okay,
think I'm gonna learn some stuff because, like, I feel like Bullet is very different. Like, do you feel like, I feel like it's just fundamentally a different kind of strategy, a lot of, like, playing openings that allow you to pre-move, trying to trick people with pre-moves, mouse management. These are not the most important things in classical chess.
yeah, there definitely is a lot of that, and I think it's interesting that uh Bullet definitely uses this different skill set or this like completely separate skill set that you need to be good at over the board chess, which is why you'll see some of these, online players' ratings skyrocketing so much in Bullet because you can just play over and over and over again for hours. And some of those skills are not necessarily transferable. Like you said, the mouse speed, things like that. They definitely play a much bigger role in these Bullet games. And I think we're going to see a lot of time management playing into the games today, which once again, I think it's just an interesting part of this particular time control. Um, and it looks,
Do you get into end games at all when you're playing Bullet or not really?
yeah, and I think that's another part of it. Like, you kind of have to know your theoretical end games, but you also have to know tactics for like pre-moving, especially like me if you're more inclined to the no increment type of bullet, because there are situations in an end game where you end up just giving a piece because it's a check and you know it'll force your opponent to either break their pre-moves or have to take an extra second to move their mouse. So there you have these dirty tricks in the end game as well as a little bit earlier in the game when there's more pieces left on the board. But you do have to know your theoretical end games because especially if you got to know your checkmates. Otherwise, your opponent can just flag you if you're just running your queen all over the board. You got to know those really fast.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I'm sure everyone pre-moves is if they're just doing a pawn race.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of it. But I think it's interesting to watch these higher level players. Like if you've ever watched the SCC, or the Bullet Chess Championship or Bullet Brawl or any of these where you've got these super GMs facing each other in Bullet. As we have about a minute left before the tournament starts, um, with these higher level matches, and we'll see some of that today because we have a ton of title players in this tournament. They are playing very intentional chess. It's not all just blitzing out these moves. They are playing, relatively decent openings. It's not like you can kind of just bomb cloud your way into a victory.
Yeah, like my sense is the London is a popular one because it's kind of an idiots. Okay, everyone's going to hate me. Kind of what I was going to say, idiots opening, where like you can play the same moves over and over again. Like, is that fair, or is it like I don't see a lot of Rui Lopez's. I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah, I think it. I mean, I play the London, so I you know what? I take offense to that, Neil. No, I'm just kidding. Uh, but it is sort of this thing where you got to play these really solid openings, or you can go for the strategy where you play something really sharp and force your opponent to tank a bunch of time because you know the opening and they
Yeah,
don't.
yeah. So I would think gambits are key and like solid, or like the kind of turtle style openings are probably pretty good, where you just basically moving every piece just one square to like make them attack you and be frustrated. Oh, are we on?
I think we're starting. And speaking of the London, maybe this isn't quite a London anymore. Some kind of a gambit. But we have Nate with the white pieces here. I think we'll start at the top, and then we'll try and get through as many of the people as we can. And
Great.
then probably near the end, we'll kind of focus on the people who are, at the top of the tournament so we can watch
Sure.
the winners.
So we both obviously know Nate. Do you know Alexander?
Vaguely. I definitely recognize the name, and I'm gonna feel really bad if he's somebody that I should know a little bit better.
I
Um,
know him only because he's active on Twitter and like he has responded to some of the kind of daily chess puzzles I've posted over the years.
okay, yeah.
But like seems like a good guy.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, we have a ton of title players here. Both Nate and Alexander are FMs. We got some national masters, and we have women international master, and we have some just also like 18, 1900s. So this is gonna be a very strong matchup here. So you can see the eval bar running all over the place here. Black
Yeah.
is slightly better.
I mean, 15 seconds in and your king's on the F7. That's not normal chess.
Yeah, definitely not. But time disadvantage that Alexander's got, the eval bar being, minus zero point 0.8, zero point 0.7 is kind of
Yeah, that's
meaningless.
irrelevant. I think Nate's in really good shape simply because like no one's gonna think what time at what point does your brain shut down? I have thoughts on when my brain stops functioning well, like with a certain amount of seconds left. When do you feel like do you feel like you could work with 1 second on your clock, or do you start to like brain starts freaking out at
Well,
some point?
with this increment, it's probably a little different, but because I normally play with no increment, it's around the like 5 to 10 second mark where
Yeah.
you kind of just start pre-moving, especially if your opponent is similarly down on time, or even worse, if they're up on time.
Oh,
As
this is
Alexander
good.
gets this nice skewer of the rooks.
Yeah, yeah, that was nice.
But
Now Nate's got to be a little careful.
yeah, trying to probably force these trades, and Alexander has nice control over this D file. Probably going to bring the other rook into D8,
Oh,
and
he
we
resigned.
have a resignation from the organizer of the tournament.
Now, would you ever resign a bullet game?
Very rarely, but I think with this increment again, I'm going to keep coming back to this.
The
It
1 second?
it makes it a little bit more uh less likely that you're
Alright.
necessarily going to time your opponent out. And I think
Okay.
for a lot of these players, it's more of a respect thing. At my level, I don't really have any respect for any of my opponents, so they can time me out or checkmate me, or I'll try and go for some stalemate tricks.
Okay, we're looking at, Rosen now? Rosenberg?
Yeah, and okay, so this is Nate again. We'll watch one more of Nate's games, and then we'll go to
Okay,
some other pairings.
okay. So
So
I know Evan a little bit.
okay, yeah, tell me about Evan.
So he's very good, and I think I was on a collab with a really good, trying to remember her name, uh, female chess title chess player, and we were for some reason we were playing hand and brain. I was clearly neither the brain nor barely the hand, but like I think somehow I beat Evan once, which was shocking to me.
Oh wow.
Which I don't know that I've never beat a title player in a like a regular game, but this was Blitz, and anything can happen. I think he
Yeah.
probably was thinking, "How hard can Neil be?" Which is not a bad thing to think.
Yeah, and with these faster time controls, you can just you never take anyone for granted. That's definitely the lesson learned there.
I think what happened was I gave away all my pieces, but there was a little pawn he forgot about, and then I queened it.
Oh, there you go. And yeah, those kind of sneaky tricks can really get you. I mean,
Oh,
just
look at this. This is twice. Oh,
oh
no,
my
no. This is
goodness.
Nate. Nate does it this time.
Yeah,
So at
Nate
least
learned his
Nate,
lesson.
yes, Nate's learned what it is to skewer two rooks.
Yeah, beautiful.
Good for you, Nate.
Yeah, he can he takes his previous game and uses it against his current opponent.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Nate's got to be careful about that back rank. I'm
Yeah, I'm
worried
waiting
for
for a
him. I
move
would
like
be,
h6 or
yeah, 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 yeah. This is
although he does still have a rook on the back rank, and he is down a little bit on time.
yeah.
So he's just trying to move quickly here.
I mean,
Probably gonna try and get rooks to the seventh
yes,
after he
that's.
makes a loop.
I'm so
Yeah.
glad he made that move because it's like you can tell that Evan was waiting for that rook to move. Uh, this is not good. Oh no, he's protecting D4. I was like worried about D4, but
Yeah,
uh,
I think it's okay.
yeah, it looks like he's gonna win. Oh, he's gonna
Yes.
win a rook, and then the rook versus the bishop. That should be a win.
Yeah, that should be a win unless Evan somehow comes up with some counterplay. And even sacking the rook for that pawn once it gets down there. I don't even think he'll have to do that because the promotion square is not even covered by the dark squared bishop, so he should be okay here. Just pushing pawns down the h file as long as he doesn't lose that
Now
rook.
we go rook a1, rook a1, rook a1.
He's got to make a move.
Oh,
Okay,
there you go.
sacking.
Brilliant,
That works
brilliant.
too.
Oh, yeah, it's because the f4 pawn was blocking. Well done, well done.
Yeah, plenty of pawns
This
and
there's more time here than I thought there was gonna be, to be honest. I guess that 1 second that you've been claiming is something.
it really does add up. Oh my goodness. All right, let's take a look at Red Bandit Ian Harris's game. So
I don't know, Red Bandit. I don't.
yeah, so my chat will remember him from the Vegas tournament I played in. He was our primary commentator and he did an excellent job, so definitely rooting for him. But we have him playing Jesse Buss. Do you know anything about this guy?
I don't, but I feel like, the 1,000 points, it's a big difference.
Yeah, I think definitely. And Ian's definitely showing his difference in Elo here. Looking like a pretty significant lead even well, okay, yeah, the material is also pretty significant.
How does somebody get to a 2,400 bullet rating? That's impressive.
It definitely is. And
I
I
mean,
think it
like
gets even more difficult as you get up into those like 2000 ratings, at least in my experience.
that's to me like what GMs hope for. I mean, unless you're, Hikaru.
Right, exactly. Well, I mean, I think online the bullet ratings are inflated pretty significantly, at least from what I've seen, because obviously Hikaru and them have like, what, 3300 rating, things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. But still, it's
still
incredible.
very impressive. Yeah. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Red Bandit Ian here is in. Okay, he's tied for second. I think he was like the second seed in this tournament, so he should be doing pretty well. And it looks like
Oh,
looking at
this was the
this,
breakthrough. Yeah, now he just needed to. Yeah,
yeah,
once he could get that rook down to the his seventh rank, it's over because that pawn is going to promote. So yeah, this is a smart time to leave. I
yeah,
wonder too if it's good sometimes to like give yourself that 3 seconds to rest before the next round.
right, yeah. There's definitely some like psychological things along that go along with even just the moments in between games. And now we
Yeah.
have another one from. We'll look at Red Bandit for just one more game. He's playing Luciana, who is a women international master. I believe works for Chessable.
Yes. I
Um,
know. I know her. She's a super nice person. I don't know if you've ever got to meet her.
yes, just not like on a call, but in messages. Yes, she seems super nice.
Yeah, great, and very active with the chess community and great attitude.
Yeah, very
Really,
positive and
yeah, yeah, and very engaged. So I'm rooting for her.
yeah, definitely. There
We're
is
gonna have to.
a
Yeah, sorry.
there's a 400 point rating gap here, so she's gonna really have to work for it. But White has a bit of an edge here with that central pawn and that rook looking down the d
And
file.
the bishop pair and like
Yeah,
I mean the rook can get to g1 and cause trouble. I don't know if Red Bandit wants to. He might not want a castle.
yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know
he's just trying to
either.
trade off. He's just trying to trade off the rook. That was just a good move, I think. Get two rooks are much more scary than one often in this kind of position.
Yeah, and she played e5. The eval bar didn't seem to like it, but now he castles, and I actually like that e5 move, just waiting, not wanting to make the trade on his terms, but White's actually waiting to make the trade on her terms so she can retake control of that open d file, and it's happening. And now it looks like they're
Yeah,
going to trade off both pairs of rooks. Maybe?
yeah. I mean the two bishops should be an advantage,
I
and
would imagine so.
that's what she's gonna play for. Eval didn't love that one, but okay. Um,
Yeah, it's going to be bouncing all over the place. I think these kind of end games are really difficult to play
yeah.
precisely, especially with 15 seconds on the clock. She's down about 10 seconds. She's got to make good moves.
Oh,
She's
I
got to
like
make
that
some
move.
moves. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
Kicking the knight back.
yeah. The knight doesn't have a lot of good squares. Okay.
Yeah, I wonder if she'll move that bishop out of the way just to keep the bishop pair on. Okay, now white is totally winning. Okay, never mind. It's coming back down. Okay, she did.
I like white though. Like, oh, I mean, like he's got a. She's got. Oh, I thought for sure she was going to protect that pawn.
Yeah, I thought so
Okay.
too with the bishop d4 or something.
Okay,
Oh,
it's
this is
all
gonna
about
be a
that
matter of
pawn. It's all about that pawn.
exactly getting
9
the king up there
seconds.
maybe?
Okay, maybe it's all gonna be about the clock.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, and yeah, it's
Oh,
so
it's
tricky.
pinned. It's pinned. I'm actually now thinking black's got this.
I think, yeah, this is
The
kinda turned
pawns are
around on her.
too yeah. Once the bishop got to C7, and the king's behind it, yeah,
But
and
Ian
time
down to 7 seconds now, he's gotta make a move. 6, okay, and she's down to 7. Lots can go wrong here and just a few seconds left on the clock, but they
oh,
do have
that
that increment.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd be moving that bishop around. I would've oh, now E2, 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 E2.
Yeah, she has to go back to F2 with the bishop, and suddenly it's back up to maybe drawing chances.
Oh my gosh, what went wrong? I
Wow.
think she had to play H4, but whatever.
Yeah, this is should be an easy draw. They should just be able to shuffle.
Well, it's the wrong color. It's
Yeah.
the bishop yeah, it doesn't even if the white bishop was removed, he can't win.
Yeah, there's just no way.
Yeah,
Because the
just ke's
promotion square is not a
yeah,
dark square, so the
all
bishop
he's
can
gotta
never force
do
his
is
king out.
keep the bishop on king on H1, just move your bishop around. You can't lose this. It's
Oh,
impossible
she's
to
just
lose.
gotta make moves, though. She's down to
Just
just
move the
seconds on the
bishop.
clock.
Did she time out?
Oh, she timed out. What a disappointment. Oh
Oh,
my
just move the
goodness.
bishop, move the bishop, you cannot lose.
Oh,
I'm right,
yeah.
correct? You can't lose this, right?
I don't think you can lose it. The only thing would be if she started pre-moving. And let's move to I'll find a different game for us to
Okay.
watch.
But this was instructive because if you have 2 pieces and one needs to stay in its one place, I would have just moved that bishop around. The chances of him finding some kind of weird checkmate, I think, are 0 with 1 second or whatever, 10 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, I don't think there is any chance, and I think she was trying to move her king, and
Yes,
then
that's
the
the
bishop ended
mistake.
up covering that square and breaking off her pre-moves.
Yeah.
As we're watching Benny Fishel, who of course is the beloved podcaster Ben Johnson. Oh, now playing against Luciana. Let's see how this one goes. Their bullet ratings are pretty similar, and Ben pulls out the Sicilian.
Wow, so this is proper chess.
Yeah, looking like a
Oh, and we have, that's called the what, the Maroxy bind? I don't
I
really know my Sicilians, but I think it's a Maroxy bind.
I think so too. I don't really. Yeah, I know like one Sicilian and not even that well. So
Yeah, I think this is considered the Maroxy bind, and it's because you've got those 2 pawns, which is restricting you've got all that center control. So Luciana's playing classical center control. You've got the now I'll sound like I know what I'm talking about. So versus the hyper modern control the center from the edges with the double fianchetto. So this will be interesting. Ooh,
I don't
is
know
this
what that move was.
wow, I'm surprised that you
Somehow
didn't
it's equal. I don't
why
know what
why
that.
didn't she take the queen? I don't know.
I don't, I don't know what's
I
happening.
thought her knight was on C6. She couldn't take the queen?
Uh, had it captured? I was looking at the knight on her knight or no his knight on F4 that
Yeah.
just seemed to jump there for no reason. But anyway, we're about 10 moves beyond that now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
As these things go. All
You have
right.
to, I guess, have a short memory with this time control, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. It's a lot of like having to move on quickly,
Yeah,
especially if you
yeah.
make a mistake, just not
Yeah, yeah.
pausing to beat yourself up about it, which I think is good, psychological practice even for in longer games.
Yeah, yeah. I liked, Ben's E6 trying to control that D5 square because that knight would have loved to jump to D5, but he's prevented that. So the knight is looking for a new home, um, and the king now looks a little more airy than it was a few moves ago. So, I'm sure that, um
Wow. Making trades right in front of the king here. Thinking we
yeah.
just check. And Evilbar's still saying it's equal, but I think this
I
is
think he wants to get
safe.
his bishop to C4. Yes, that's a great move.
Yeah. Oh, but drops the queen in the process.
Ouch.
Oh no.
No, he pre-moved C4, and she kind of
Yeah.
guessed it. We both guessed what he was gonna do, and this is the tragedy of Bullet.
Just forgot that oh my goodness. Wow. Luciana's hopefully going to be able to pull off a win here with 10 seconds left on the clock. Okay, she
Oh,
drops the rook. There's definitely still chances, but okay. He ends up resigning.
well, good game, tricky
Well
game.
done. I'm glad we got to see a win from Luciana. Let's maybe see if we can get one more out of Ben.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Now,
Okay.
how many times have you been on Ben's show?
Just twice now. I had a full episode and then a like 10-minute segment on the Vegas episode he did
Oh,
recently.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was good. I
And I
like the
believe
Vegas
you've
one.
been on it as well, right?
I've been on it, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, yeah.
Okay, nice, nice. Okay, so now we have Ben against Chicago Dave. I actually don't know who this is. See if I can figure it out. David Franklin, okay. Who's actually untitled but has a much higher rating than Ben Johnson.
Yeah. It could be that he's titled, it's just his title's not showing up.
That could also be, yeah.
He's an American. It's interesting, everyone's an American.
Yeah, this must be a decent time for the Americans to play. I
Yeah,
imagine it's probably like,
it's
4
a
a.m.
terrible
over in Europe.
yeah. Yeah, it's a terrible time for the Europeans, so,
hmm
um,
Which I guess is the whole idea of the
yeah, Ben just dropped a pawn. That's not
bullet.
good.
Oh, yeah, these rooks coming into the seventh.
I mean, like, this looks really rough. If he
Yeah.
gets his knight to, like, G5 or E5, I mean, the queen, it's pinned right now, so maybe it's not as bad as it looks.
Yeah, White's moves just seem so easy in this position, whereas Black
Yeah,
is just barely hanging on here and
yeah.
looks like dropping. I mean, that rook moves anywhere, and I mean, rook d7 check, and you can get the bishop, but then you drop your queen.
Uh, what about, yeah, what about, like, rook F8? And then I guess the king takes. Yeah, yeah, this is the way to do it, I guess.
Okay.
Um, yeah, yeah, nice fork.
Wow, I was even looking at moves like queen d5 check or something like that, but
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's still in the air. It's
probably I don't know why he's avoiding this square. This seemed like a good square, but all right, still lots happening.
it's
Technically
gotta
only
be
up 1 point of material at this point, so okay,
attacking
attacking the
queen
queen.
seems like a really smart play in bullet always.
Yes, because those pre moves can get you sometimes, and this
Yeah,
we've seen already in this tournament. It's been no exception. And suddenly Ben is up on the clock here. He's definitely
yeah,
making
it's
it
very
difficult for his
close.
opponent.
Yeah,
Yeah, that knight really likes that
that
e5 square.
he's gonna be happy with the draw here.
I think so. Oh, but it looks like Dave is not. Moving the rook over to the g file. Now the pawn starts running.
Well, that bishop is in all kinds of trouble because it's not defended, and the knight can't move, or he loses the bishop.
And just as you said it, okay, he missed it. He had lost the bishop, but now
Yeah,
suddenly White's winning with this check. I think White's pieces are just too close for comfort. It's going to take a miracle to pull off, but both players just a few seconds left on the clock. Ben Johnson now down to just 5 seconds to his opponent's 12.
oh, this is good. This looks good. I'm liking Ben. Oh, what is he gonna run out of time?
Oh, and I think he flagged. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think White
Yes.
was actually winning in that
No,
fight.
no, I got confused. Yeah, yeah. It was
Yeah.
Chicago Dave who was looking good. I flipped who was playing which pieces. No, Dave looked like he was really in trouble, but Ben missed the bishop. He just gave
Yeah,
away the
yeah,
bishop
yeah.
for nothing.
Exactly. That there were
Well, it
definitely
makes me
many chances
feel
in bullet.
makes me feel better. Like maybe the splits thing is all about making us all feel better about our chess.
Exactly. Oh my goodness, I had somebody in my chat last time I was playing bullet say, "Oh, my I'm 1300, my bullet games don't look like this." And then I proceeded to blunder a queen and a rook and they were like, "Okay, actually they kind of do." All right, now I'm watching the game between Nidorf Neal, who I don't know, and Todd Bryant, who was in the chat earlier, Strong Chess on Twitter.
Yes.
And there's a bit of a rating discrepancy here, but of course anything can happen in bullet. And Todd with the black pieces doing a nice job of just running White's king all over the place, picking up pieces, and ultimately, I guess there wasn't a checkmate. The queen covers that b2 square, but up 6 points of material. That should be an easy win for Todd.
I got corrected by the chat. Thank you, J Mastermind. It was a semi-Maroxy bind, not a Maroxy bind, because we don't have the pawn on d3. So I learned something. Thank you, J Mastermind.
Oh, nice job. And he says it's 2:26 a.m. in the UK. So it makes sense. There's just mostly US or
Ooh, we
all
got a
US
checkmate
players.
on the board. That's rare.
Wow. Well
That's
done.
uh, well, when your rating is times two, then you should win.
Yeah, it does tend to make sense. And with that win, Todd has spiked up to tied for first place. Uh okay, he's not playing right now. He's going to try and follow more of his games, but let's take a look at sorry, I'm just jumping all over the place. Oh, we have this game with Dan Bach and Evan again? Evan,
Okay.
yes.
Oh yeah, I'm on it.
Okay, they're both down to just a few seconds, but we haven't stopped at Dan's game, so we'll take a look at his.
So Dan is interesting. He started chess relatively late, like I did, but he's had some really impressive gains. I don't know if you've been following him on Twitter.
Yeah, I do remember seeing his winning a tournament recently or some section of a tournament. I can't remember what it was. I
Dan just pulled a Neil though, and just lets clock go down. But this is the thing I've learned is like when you have 2 seconds, you just got to move. It kind of doesn't matter what the moves are.
Yeah, exactly. You do just have to make a move.
You just have to move because I hear this all the time from like when I see GMs talking about watching amateurs play and like they're on like almost no time. They're all screaming, "Just make a move! Just make a move!"
I
And there's some
know.
logic to that.
There was some like audio that chess.com put out or like some I think it was from chess.com where it was just a compilation of all the commentators just screaming like make a move and it was like an extension you could add to your browser so that if
Mm.
you would let a certain amount of seconds pass in like your bullet games or something it would start yelling at you in your headphones, which I thought was hilarious. Um okay, I'm now watching this game with Dan against Chicago Dave.
Yeah, I thought that Chicago Dave had a fork on E5 about 5 moves ago. No one cares now.
Yeah, a little late for that. I was too busy talking about funny chess extension, so there we go. Wow, this knight out to the edge of the board, usually not a good move, but in Bullet, anything goes. Once again, we've been talking about this. And that in particular was a good move because he wanted to capture the c pawn. This is long gone now, of course, but recapture with the knight that was on a3.
I
Now
like
the
what
rook's
Dan's
coming to the
doing here.
center.
I like what Dan's doing here. He's trying to fight for these central squares. He's hoping for a trade. I'm sure the rooks. Yeah, there were other. Yeah, this all makes sense. King coming up early.
Wow, that
Bold.
king on f3.
Yeah, yeah,
He wanted to go to g4 with that knight trade, but Chicago Dave's not going to let it happen. Both
yeah.
kings coming to the center of the board. This is a
I would be
strong game,
playing
but
E. I would be thinking E4. Yes, and it's
yep,
played E4.
yep.
Yeah.
Kick that knight back and maybe try and go for the trade again. I think getting the knights off the board. Knights are tricky pieces, especially in
Well,
Bullet.
it's smart to come back because that D7 square looks very fragile.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I wouldn't have moved the knight. I think the knight was really well placed. See, now he's given up. See how the knights have traded squares. He's got to kick that knight again. Yes,
Yeah, yep.
kicks it
Moving the
again.
king out of the
Good
way for a
job.
pawn. And now the
Uh,
question will be,
ooh,
oh, this seems like, oh, if it wasn't a check, that would have been a huge mistake because of taking the rook on c8 and removing the defender. But now it's still looking okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um,
Yeah,
I
this is Bullet where you got rooks or you got minor pieces and you end up just kind of jumping around and see who cracks first,
right.
especially under the time pressure. Okay, now the rooks get traded.
I
Dan's keeping his rook on the d file so the king can't come any closer.
Yeah,
Where
C2, rook C2. I think is a good move. Oh no,
yeah,
no, it's not. It's covered by the knight. Never mind.
if you can
Uh,
get that knight out of there, I was gonna say,
yeah.
but it's gonna be tricky.
Ooh,
Oh, and there's nowhere for. Oh my goodness, we might have a very nice upset win here.
wow, wow, Dan, way to go, Dan.
Now, will he be able to
With the
pull this
pin.
off up the piece with just 11 seconds left on the board?
I don't think so. I think that knight move was terrible.
Okay, but
So
still
it's
up a
probably gonna.
pawn.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm betting. I'm going draw here. That's my guess.
I don't know. The Eval Bar seems to disagree.
I
Don't know what
know.
to do with that pawn. That extra pass pawn might be the
Yeah,
key
yeah.
here.
Oh, wow, now it's over. Now it's over.
Yeah,
You
I think
can't
he
give
just
up all
broke.
that you can't give up all that space. I mean,
Yeah.
forget that pawn, just go grab his other 2. Just grab his other 2. Just simple chess.
I've had this happen to me in just the most frustrating classical game ever, where my opponent just forced me up the board with their extra pass pawn, and
Yeah,
then
this was good at technique in the end. If you just take those pawns and then there's no bit monkey business.
yeah, exactly. Let's take a look at who have we not seen yet. Um, we haven't looked at Robert Ramirez
Oh, yeah,
in
we
this
haven't.
game,
Now,
and he is. Oh, he is playing. Okay.
what do you know about Robert?
Um, he is a streamer
Yeah,
and a quite good one. I actually really like it. I believe he makes YouTube videos as well, and I believe I've watched a couple of them. I sound so confident. I know I've watched a couple of them. They're very good.
I have as well, and I agree 100%. I think he's also a coach.
Yeah, yeah. I think he's doing a lot of great stuff, especially for adult improvers.
Yeah. This
This
looks more normalish position, I would say.
Yeah, the eval bar is kind of running all over the place, but I
The
I
rook's
think
coming to
it's all
A3,
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was worried about that, but going back, interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. These players
I
are
mean,
both
like,
close in rating. There's
the space advantage is huge if he can hold on to it.
yeah, maybe like a 80-point rating difference, and I mean 2300 against 2200.
I would be thinking bishop f2 and get rid of that knight, but we'll see because that knight's just too good. Gotta get rid of it.
Yeah. I think that's should be a plan. The bishop here doesn't matter when you've got this knight just infiltrating your position and hanging on to that outpost square.
I'd also be nervous about a rook a1 because that knight is pinned to the rook. So
Okay, yeah.
I'd be getting ooh, did he just lose a rook?
Uh oh. Oh, okay, counter pinning the rook
Counterpin.
to the
Wow. But
queen.
that's okay. The queen can move because the knight. Oh no, the
Yeah.
knight can't move because it's wow. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah, everything's kind of pinned, and
I think that white is winning. It's
white
like
definitely seems for choice,
black
but
can't move. Black can't move the knight.
yeah, there's probably some crazy engine move that just holds it all together, but it's really difficult to find with 17 seconds left on the clock. 16, counting down the seconds to his demise. He's down about 10 seconds. Wow, giving up the queen.
But he can get 2 pieces for it.
He
But
can
like
get two pieces, but so
but
can white.
yeah.
Okay, having to move.
This is gonna come down to the clock, I think,
I think it is.
because Dave is down to 8 seconds.
Yeah, really, anything goes here is really hard to find moves for black.
Yeah. I'd be taking that pawn. Yeah, this is good.
Yep.
Now the pawn, move the c pawn.
I mean, yeah,
Pass
I was gonna
pawns
say you
must
can
be
just
pushed.
run the
Yeah,
pawn,
yeah.
and
I
it's
would
just
play
GG's.
queen d8. Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
And now you're gonna queen the c pawn. This is over now. Yeah,
Yeah, you
he's
can
got
just
it.
take the rook, and it's a
Yeah,
resignation.
yeah,
Well done.
yeah. Nice job, Rob.
Very nicely played. All right, let's take a look. It looks like Nate Solon's back on top. Let's see what he's up to.
Okay. I'm back. This is this is a Alpine Sicilian that turns into like a French structure.
Okay, well I do like the French, so this is looking pretty familiar to me. Oh, and sacrificing for the pawn. Wow.
Well, this is the computer is not liking White's position at all.
I was gonna say, yeah, I don't think it really worked. Looks like yeah, Nate's just up the material now, and
Nate's a big French player, isn't he?
I actually don't know about the French. I know he plays the London, that which is
Okay.
my opening of choice. So I've learned I've gotten some pretty great insights from
Ooh,
his London stuff. But
ooh, he's just
yeah, he's just going to
giving.
town.
He's well, yeah. Chess Bus is just giving away pieces.
Yeah, I think that can happen a lot of times when you're just frustrated with how the game's
Yeah,
going.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, but this is so smart by this is instructive by Nate. Just make queens and take pawns. Oh, he's got the mate. That was nice. I would have just taken more pawns, but he found the main one.
Yeah, that was definitely a smooth one. Um, let's see, is Nate still playing? It jumped me to. Okay, yeah, he's got black against Nidorf Neil. He's playing these lower rated players now.
Yeah.
He's on a streak, an 8 game winning streak, which is skyrocketing him to the top with 29 points in the tournament. I don't really know how the point system works in these arena tournaments, but I know if you
Yeah.
have a streak, it gives you more points.
Yeah, it's interesting to see this bishop right in the middle of the board. I don't play any openings that allow me to do like keep a bishop in the middle of the board like this.
Yeah, and there just seems like not an easy way to kick it back. Okay, maybe bringing the knight down.
But what's interesting is that bishop is so sad on a2. Oh,
Oh, and losing a rook in the corner. I know, yeah, somehow that bishop got pushed back to just the worst square ever.
yeah. Well, that's the pawn pushes. It's like Nate knows how to use space, and he did that really fast.
Yeah, he did. And I think sometimes the tendency for, especially, lower rated, not FMs, is to push pawns. But in this case, Nate knows how to do it well and not just push pawns for no reason.
Oh, he just lost a pawn. Oh, why couldn't he have taken the d5 pawn? Interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah. Now, Nate's not giving him two chances at the d5 pawn because
Yeah, absolutely
that's like
not.
that's the base of his pawn chain. So he's going to try to play b3. Play it anyway. Yeah, good job.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think,
look at this bishop's just being bullied. Like
right. It just keeps getting kicked around.
Nate just wants his lunch money. Nate's just like, no, no. Oh, take the queen. Oh,
Oh, and the queen goes.
this is why you want rooks on the second rank, on the
Going for
seventh
just
rank.
chicks.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, now we got Nate against Todd Bryant. This should be a good matchup.
Oh, yeah. Nate's gonna have a harder time taking Todd's. I think Todd could bench Nate.
Yeah, that is probably true. All right, Nate. So Nate's playing this London. I like the Joe Bava. He's going for this early, jumping up the knight to b5, which is, obviously threatening the fork, which is long gone now, but the point remains. Um, yeah, the Joe Bava London works really well. My one like area of expertise. It works really well against these positions like the Groomfeld or the King's Indian, where you have this fee-encountered bishop on the king side.
Hmm.
And often, if you want to get really aggressive with it, you could start pushing your H pawn quite early in the game, and it's pretty difficult for black to stop.
I play the Tarrasch against the London. There's a chessable course. I'm trying to remember the name of the guy who does it, but it's a lifetime repertoire Tarrasch, um,
Okay.
and he plays the Tarrasch against a bunch of stuff, including the London, which is like I think London people don't know what to do about it because they're not used to it.
Yeah, I feel like that's one that I don't see very often.
So
So
what you're
yeah,
getting is like a really early c5 is what's happening with black.
yeah. I think c5 is typically the most testing move in the London whenever I see it in whatever variation, and so I, if you're looking for things to play against the London, that might be a good shot. But here, White seems to have a slight edge, and on the board and on the clock, Todd's down to just 20 seconds. Nate has 39. He's got double his time. He's got to make a move. Okay, leaving the bishop to be captured by the knight.
So it's Jordan Van Forest for those keeping track at home. I recommend the Jordan Van Forest chessable course if you're. Oh, look at that move! That
Oh,
was sweet.
wow.
That was nice.
And the queen goes. Wow, what a great win for London players and for Nate. Well done. Nice.
So he just stole that rook because the queen was undefended, right?
Yeah, he can take it and the pawn is pinned to the queen, so the queen
Yeah.
wouldn't be, or the rook on the other side would be able to
I
capture
was
the queen.
wrong. Nate took Todd's lunch money too. He's just the bully. He's the bully of this.
He is. He's crushing everybody. I think he might have just made this tournament just so he could win it.
I mean, man, Todd's in pain.
No
He's like,
kidding.
how did I lose to that like 1200 level tactic?
It's so hard in these time scrambles. You know what? Let's move to. We'll probably come back to Nate, especially if he stays at the top. But let's move to somebody else's board. I've got. Okay, we have Ben Johnson, Benny Fishel up here against Red Bandit. who's, if you've been keeping track, Ian Harris, our famed commentator. And Ian's taking Benny to town. Let's see if he can pull off this sneaky checkmate. I don't
Oh, wow.
think Ian's gonna give him the chance. Nope, he pushes F5.
So I'm sorry, Red Bandit is Ian?
Ian, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. I know Ian.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was his nickname. I mean, I have a really complicated name called Neil Bruce. What's your nickname?
On chess.com, mine
Yeah.
is Small Town Goose. So
Oh, there
yeah.
you go. So I'm just old. Old people just use their names.
Right. Similarly, before I had a YouTube channel, I wanted to be a little bit more anonymous, and now that's kind of just gone out the window. But yeah,
So,
Black is making some threats here, but this queen trade is, I mean, it's still probably, yeah, this is not
he's
looking
just
great.
taking pawns. He's just taking pawns.
Yeah, the bishop pair doesn't really matter unless he can win that knight. Okay, he's not gonna let him.
So Ian is a coach, really, I think very instructive. When I've seen him do his um, streams, I feel like Ian's a very good, and uh, he wrote the prologue to this chess visualization book I have.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Chess visual. Who wrote chess visualization?
Give me
Is
a
that
second. Give me a second. I'll look it up.
okay? I'm pretty sure I know which one it is, but I'm blanking on who wrote it.
Yeah.
And suddenly, while you're looking this up, this game has gone from completely winning for Ian to suddenly more of a draw because of the bishop pair versus this rook. And with just a few seconds left on the clock, oh my goodness, 5 seconds for Ian. 3 seconds. Both players just a few left. It's gonna be all about these passed pawns here.
Oh,
All right,
nice.
he found that dropped pawn, and suddenly, all right, I think it's over. Unless there's some stalemate tricks, but okay.
So, Cognitive Chess: Improving Visualization and Calculation Skills. It's written by Konstantin uh, Chernyshov. I'm sure I'm ruining that name, but I know Ian wrote the prologue or the forward. Actually, it says forward.
Okay,
Um,
nice.
so he must have a connection with Konstantin somehow.
I've heard of that book, and I think it's probably on my list. I've got a big list of chess books I need to get, and I
How is your visualization? Are you able to look at a chess game, just the notation, and follow it all in your head, or I'm not able to do that?
I'm really bad at that. Yeah, I think that's probably something that comes with more practice than I've had, and I think that's one of the things that you know, that suffers because I haven't been playing chess as long as maybe some grandmasters.
I think
Um,
the key is if we had when I've had coaching from like several IMs and GMs, and my sense is if you started playing when you were 5 or 6 or even maybe 7, um, this isn't even something you have to think about. It's just like
mm,
you learn like the night tour and all this stuff because you're 5 and you have nothing better to do and you don't know, have a mortgage to pay.
right.
But like I think if you're over 25, it's way harder to visualize in chess pieces than if you're 5. That's my sense.
Yeah, that's definitely something I've been trying to work on along with like calculation. I think they kind of go hand in hand.
They do. I mean, like you can't calculate if you can't see, and
Yeah.
so like to me, seeing is I could calculate like 2 or 3 or 4 movers, but like I had a lot of games where if I could see 5 or 6 moves, I would have won. And so I highly recommend after you get past basic tactics, visualization work is well worth it.
Yeah, that's definitely a fantastic recommendation. Um I right now I'm looking at this game with Evan again. He's cleaning it up against Jesse. Let's jump to, let's see who's playing. It looks like some people do not have games going, but I think it takes a while to update. So, let me see.
Alexander King with Red Bandit, or
Yeah, I perfect. I just jumped to that one. Great minds think alike. Well, Alexander King has pretty significant time disadvantage here. Just 5 seconds left on the clock, and
He should just resign.
Worst position. Yeah, this is not looking great.
I
We can
mean,
follow his next game.
yeah,
This is a pretty good upset for Ian, who's Red Bandit here.
yeah. See, it's all his visualization work paying off.
Yeah, clearly.
I mean, just push the rook to f8. Yeah, time control. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay. How about a beneficial? How about a Ben game? I haven't seen Ben in a while.
sure. Oh, shoot. I clicked on the wrong one.
It's
Okay,
okay.
sorry. This. Okay, I have two
I'm gonna,
tabs open.
I'm gonna back this thing up and see if I can tell what the. Oh, so this is a center game with. Oh, he plays it differently. So I tend to play the c4 move, but he's playing it more conservatively. Interesting.
Hmm.
Um,
And I do wonder if these at higher levels, if these players are having specific bullet repertoires, because
I
at
would
least
think
for
you have
me,
to. Yeah, I think you have to.
I think you end up having to. Yeah, it's
So I think that my guess is that Chess Plus doesn't play this opening very often. Is my guess.
yeah. I
But I mean, like, look at. I mean, the computer is not that upset with them. So maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, he seems to be holding it together. It's still pretty drawn. I think I would still prefer black here. Just I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I like. It seems to be about the control of the d4 square. I'd be moving my rook to d8 and trying to control the d4 square.
Yeah, and moving that
Ooh,
queen back.
what's this? There must be a tactic he missed.
Uh, doesn't
Oh
seem.
no, he just it was the knight. He just gave up the knight for nothing.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Now Ben should win this pretty easily.
it's good that Ben noticed it too.
Yeah, those can be tricky. Sometimes you trust your opponent too much,
Yeah,
and it
I
can.
would be. I would have played something tricky like h6 because the rook, the bishop was pinned to the rook, but Ben just ran him out of time. Good job, Ben.
Yeah, nice job. Oh shoot. Okay, it keeps doing this. Sorry, just fixing the thing. Okay, it's looking fine. Who have we not checked on in a while? We've got about 17 minutes left, so we can jump around a little bit more, and then maybe we'll stay at the top for the
You want
next.
to see Luciana?
Yeah, I was just thinking Luciana we haven't seen in a while. Let's
Oh,
see if
here we
she's
have
on a.
classic. Which looks like she should win this for sure. The rook's in a decent spot. The pawns. Yeah, this should be.
Yeah, that extra pawn on the queen side is
Gave it
looking pretty
away, but
nice.
I don't know. I feel like she made it harder than she needed to.
Yeah, two
The,
seconds left though. I cannot blame her. Did she?
tell me she didn't time out
I
again.
think she timed out. Okay,
Oh
she lost
no.
13 points, so I imagine she does not play bullet very much, at least on this account. So
Oh my goodness.
understandable.
I
Oh,
would
too
be I would
bad.
be doing what she does. I time out on 5-5 games. I mean, that's how embarrassing I am.
I mean, I timed out on a classical game on stream. It happens to the best of us. And Luciana's much better than both of us.
Right.
Let's see if she's gonna get another game or if we should jump to somebody else. Not seeing that she's playing again. I'd just be taking a deep breath after that one.
Do you want to go for Nate?
Yeah, let's take a look back at Nate. Looks like he's still got a pretty significant lead here. I
Oh,
have
and
to
he's
say.
I mean, like, he's just like, I'm trying to remember. Everyone loves to, have their victims. People, oh no, D7 looks good for the rook D7. Check, get that
Yeah, that I was
D7
just
rank.
okay. He doesn't go for it, but still a possibility.
Yeah,
Yeah, that knight moved away. Okay, he still goes there,
yeah,
just keeping the king in a very ugly spot.
yeah. Just take the pawns.
And probably
Um,
bringing the other rook up.
so there's this idea in chess called like your favorite customers, meaning the people who you can beat easily. I feel like Nate's like got a few here, a few customers.
Yeah, that kind of seems to be the case. With such a small tournament, you end up playing the same people, and I
And he's just gonna push that to A8 and dare him to stop it.
wow. The knight covers the square where the rook would like to come back, and it's just impossible. Wow.
That's just like,
It's
take my
just
lunch
brutal.
money and my milk money. It's just everything's going.
He really is being a bully here, and yeah, it's looking like winning the rook and winning the game. Very nicely done to Nate. Let's stick on him for
We need
another one.
Nate to get a no mercy T-shirt.
Yeah, he's definitely crushing. I wonder if he practiced this specific time control because I feel like okay, we have Nate against Todd once again. I feel like he's really crushing it here. He's on a 14 game winning streak, and he's heads and tails above the rest of the competition. He's got 53 points to Red Bandit's 32, who's looking like in a good second place finish. So I think Nate, I don't know.
Okay, Todd, come on, man.
Todd's got to take him down if he wants any
Todd
chance.
Todd's got to get some self-respect going here.
Right.
Let's go, Todd. For everyone else.
For everyone else, exactly. Otherwise, this is
I
the
mean,
viewers are going to scream that this is rigged because Nate's just
exactly.
destroying everybody.
I mean, this is like Tiger Woods does a tournament and then Tiger Woods crushes everyone. This is what
Yeah,
it's doing.
exactly. Or it's like that Magnus tournament that he
Yeah,
supposedly
yeah, exactly.
organized.
The same exact thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, this is some high level chess here. There's definitely not pieces being dropped this early in the game.
but
Although
that was
Nate
a
is
good
up
pawn.
20 seconds on time.
That was a good pawn. Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong game. That doesn't help. Let me get to your game.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
Um,
looking at the Nate
yeah,
Todd
yeah,
Bryant game.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So why is the king on E2?
I feel like I missed something. It wasn't a second ago. Okay, it's back now. I wonder if it was moving out of the way of this rook on that open F file all of a sudden.
Oh, this looks so perilous. Yeah, this looks bad. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow,
Take the
okay,
pawn.
winning that pawn. I've been looking at that one for a while. That pawn on c4 was kind of
It's
tricky to
good.
hang on to, but now Nate has those doubled pawns, but I'm not sure it's going to matter.
And then the time. Oh, Nate's this resting on 34 seconds like he's got eternity.
Yeah, he's got all the years in the
That
world.
bishop is terrible. That bishop is terrible. Let the pawn go. Just,
You
just
have
oh
to.
yeah, just get that bishop out of there. Okay, good. At least something's going on here. Oh,
Yeah, the I mean, hang on. The dark squares are covered by that bishop, and it looks bad, but it's a great defender. It's gonna be hard for
yeah.
Nate to keep pushing those pawns unless he drops one like that. Okay,
Now he's
now
gonna get a pawn. He's gonna get the eight. Oh no. Oh, this could be a draw.
okay, this is not
This could be a
over.
draw. Get to E7 and then just like check him, check him, check him.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think it's a
He
draw.
knows it. Yes. And then
Yeah, and then just shuffle
okay,
back and
there's
forth.
lots of ways to draw this, but yeah, this was an easy way. Good job.
Yeah,
Good job.
wow. Way to spin it around Todd. That was a
Yeah.
fantastic game. And
In your
okay,
face, Nate. In your face.
it broke Nate's lose or winning streak with a draw. Forced draw, even though Nate was looking pretty nice there for a while, but now we've got Nate playing Robert Ramirez. We can stay on this one.
I think Nate was like, I'll give some crumbs.
Yeah, he's got to make sure. Uh,
Yeah.
we've
It's
got. I just looking at the standings here. We've got Nate towering above the rest with 54 points. There's 10 minutes left in the tournament. So it's gonna take some work for either Todd or for Ian, who's Red Bandit, to work their way back up to even be close to Nate, and they're gonna have to get on a winning streak in order to do that.
I feel like the black pawns are a little overextended.
I think so too, but this queen coming in, attacking both the B pawn and looking at that queen through the knight. Yeah, I would have moved the queen too. I don't think that pawn is worth that potential check. Okay, it's slightly inaccurate here. I'm not quite sure why. It actually seems quite nice. Maybe you were supposed to take the B pawn. I don't know. But like I was saying before, those knights can be really tricky in these games, and so moving that king out of the way so that you didn't have this discovered attack on the dark squares, that was a crucial Okay, and sacrificing the exchange now. This is looking pretty good for Robert.
Yes.
Right, suddenly Nate's on the button for the clock situation. Right, recapturing that pawn. I don't know if it'll be enough after dropping the knight on c3. He's going for checkmate, but I don't know if he has the time.
16 seconds
Wow.
is not that bad. You can get a lot done in 16
You
seconds.
can get a lot done, and that knight sacrifice is quite an interesting one. I don't know if I would take that, although if you leave it on the board, nasty things can happen with things like
Oh,
I
there's no way. There's no way I would take that night.
no, I don't think so either. I think I would just trust that Nate has a plan. And frankly, he might go for some kind of repetition here.
I mean, why not just queen takes e4 and trade off the queens?
Yeah, for I mean,
That's what I would do in a second. Trade off those queens because your king is more fragile than his king. There it is.
yeah, it's
So like
coming,
that's
I
the
think.
yeah, that's what he needed to do. That was well
Okay,
done.
he
Well done.
definitely killed that. Let's maybe watch another Robert Ramirez game. I think we'll
Sure.
maybe go back to Nate when we have just a few minutes left and watch.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, I
So
keep clicking on the wrong one.
no worries.
Where is he? Okay, he's playing Ben Johnson, crowd favorite. Yeah, these knights out to the side of the board, it's not something that you see very often in
Well,
classical, but
you do when you see C3, the knight often is going to C2 from it goes B. You know, see what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
B1 to A3. It's to me that feels like very GM-ish kind of
I was gonna
chess.
say it seems very high level.
Yeah.
And yeah, I should say it's not something you normally tell beginners to do,
No, no, no.
which is where I've been living, creating my course for the last year. It's
Sure, sure.
all about basic principles.
I love the
Ooh,
space that Rob's trying to achieve.
yeah, he's killing it. And after that knight moves, he's gonna have a nice fork, uh,
Nice.
forcing a piece to give itself up for the two pawns.
So this is it. Space creates opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. And even though the king looks wide open, it's actually
Oh,
not in that much danger.
yeah, yeah, this is looking pretty good. He's got to try to avoid trades, but I don't know how he does.
Yeah,
This look,
he's.
yeah, this is looking rough for my friend Ben.
I know. I feel like we haven't watched. Yeah, have we seen Ben win a game yet? I hope we have. I can't remember now though.
I don't remember. Maybe one.
We might have just been stopping in at the most inopportune times for him. Sorry, Ben.
Yeah,
He's getting paired with these really tough players. Although he has gained some rating. I think he started the tournament at like 18 or 1900, and he's already up to 2029. So he's clearly
he,
been playing well.
yeah,
Maybe we just
he
haven't
just
been watching.
he just gave up. Oh no, he didn't give up a piece. That was smart. So he can. This was a good move by the queen to not give up a piece. Now he
Yeah,
can
so he
take.
can take it, but
Yeah.
oh,
Oh,
suddenly we're
look.
looking at draws.
Wow. Oh,
Oh, and he doesn't go
played.
for
I
it.
would have gone for queen D1 in a second.
Yeah, I think you can just force the repetition there.
And he sees it now.
Yeah. Oh, oh, and then the knight comes in and makes it even more tricky
Yeah.
for. Well, okay.
What's wrong with G4 check? I guess he just doesn't want the repetition.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that way.
He's going to get the E4 pawn. He's just going to win with pawns. Look at this.
And oh, he missed a mate. Oh wait, no, he didn't. He was in check. My bad. My bad. Okay,
It's
now
white.
there's.
There's a mate on D8. There's a mate on D8 that Rob keeps missing.
Yeah, I think it's because Ben keeps checking him, and it's really hard to find places to move your king here where you're not gonna get checked. Luckily, okay, suddenly there's chances. Getting into f6. Yeah, I think it's over now.
Yeah.
I think you have to go to the queen to f8 just to hold it on. Yeah, yep. Queen f8. Bishop takes queen, and it's over because you have to hold on so that mate doesn't happen on g7.
Yeah. He was fighting a losing battle there.
Yeah,
He
that
had
was tough.
he's gonna kick himself because he had some I think the queen D1 to G4 checks, he had a chance at at a perpetual there.
Yeah, that the eval bar was jumping to that, and I think if he just kept looking for checks, which I'm definitely guilty of too, you just have to look for your checks and think later,
Yeah.
and especially when you're down a piece, it's just absolutely crucial, and your opponent kind of gets on the button to find their way out of
Yeah.
a perpetual, which can be really hard in just a few seconds left on the clock. We have just
Let's
a few seconds left on the clock. Let's
let's look
jump
at
to
the Nate.
Nate's
Yeah.
game. All right,
Good. Yeah.
Jinx. Great minds think alike.
Oh, black keeps getting better and better. The bar keeps moving.
Okay, we've got Nate against Red Bandit here. Of course, if you're just joining, Red Bandit is our, I almost said our favorite commentator, but one of our favorite commentators on this channel, Ian Harris, who is our lead commentator in Vegas. And Nate was also on that stream for a few of the games, so we've got the Clash of the Commentators here. And Clash of the Coaches. I know both of them done some fantastic coaching work for a lot of
I
chess monks.
I like the bishop on E7, and I like the pressure with this pawn going down the A file. I'd be moving a rook behind the pawn.
Yeah, definitely. I think Nate's just trying to secure his king. It's looking a
Yeah,
little bit wide open, but I think as soon as
I'd
that
be I
is
would be
done,
playing queen F5 and then queen B1.
can't play queen f5 right now because the bishop covers it, but
Okay, yeah, you're right.
I see your
So
point though.
he's got the same idea. He's moved it to B7. Same
Yeah.
idea. He wants to get to B1. Take with the knight. Oh, but he's going to lose the queen. Oh, now that's terrible. Yeah, Nate set it up so that yeah. Oh,
Now that
it's nice
rook
that
falls.
it's nice that that knight was able to protect G7.
Yeah.
Did he just drop his queen?
Somehow black is still okay. Black's holding it together, and we have a resignation.
Wow.
Wow, what a game! All
I
right.
think I think that white just dropped his queen on B7, and the rook came back for it. I think.
Yeah,
No,
there's a
yeah, yeah. That's what. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, white moved to B7, and the rook rooks move backwards. That's the trick.
right. Well, I think when that rook came up, it was a check, and that's why the queen fell. But then the pawn ended up coming through.
Hmm,
It looks like Nate's not playing any more games, but suddenly if Robert Ramirez has jumped into second place, we should maybe go to his.
great.
Oh, sorry guys, it keeps switching. I don't know why it keeps
Oh,
messing this
against
up. Let me
Luciana.
see.
Let's. I'm hoping. I like both of these players, so we'll see.
Yeah,
No,
this is definitely Clash of Titans here.
I like this. Go after that G6 pawn.
Yeah, these bishops are going to be nasty, especially on those light squares.
Yeah, she's got to be. Yeah, this is what I was worried about losing this bishop. Um, yeah, the king's a force.
Yeah, definitely.
So in the end game, theoretically, people have claimed that the king's worth 4 points with the queen's off because the king can move, like a bishop and a knight. It's a short range piece, but can go to every square, which bishops can't.
Yeah, I think I've heard this.
Yeah,
And now we've got Nate against Rob. This is probably going to be our final game for the tournament. And although Nate is in a clear first, this is still going to be a very interesting game, I think. These are both very strong players. Let's see what happens.
so we have this double fianchetto. I don't play fianchetto positions. Do you know what this opening is called?
I don't. I could probably. Well, nope. I'm gonna mess up my layout if I do that. Chess.com will tell us if we look at it after the game. But this surely,
It looks like some kind of modern, but I couldn't tell you.
yeah, it's something with it's like a Catalan or something. But I don't know what the extra the Bianchetto on the queen side is. I don't know what that is.
Hmm,
Clearly, the commentators are very knowledgeable.
of
Um,
course. I'm going to check the
oh,
chat, see if the chat knows. It says J Mastermind says, I think the reason why Nate is winning so often is because he's comfortable with obscure Sicilian lines.
Oh,
I gotta believe that like playing obscure lines is the way to go.
yeah, I wonder if that is the case, and then you're just very confident and your opponent isn't. But with that, we have an end to the tournament. They don't get to play out the final game because the tournament has ended. But of course, we've got Nate in first place. That means that thanks to Chessable, he's going to be taking home a $75 credit to the Chessable store. And then in second place, pulling ahead of Ian, we got Robert Ramirez with 40 points. And then Ian, of course, Red Bandit in third place with 34 points. Everybody played so well in this tournament. This was some really high level chess and really fun to watch, even though it was going by so fast.
Yeah, I mean, pieces got dropped. That's going to happen in Bullet, but it was a lot of fun. It was clear that I mean, it's one of the things I did notice about Nate is like he would get into the late middle game and he'd have 30 seconds. That means he only used half his time. I mean, when you've got 30 seconds versus 10, that's like being up a queen.
Exactly. Yeah, time management was so crucial in so many of these positions. And we even saw players like in a totally winning or a totally drawn position lose because they were down on time and weren't able to pull off the moves in time, which is super unfortunate, but that is what
Yeah.
Bullet's all about.
Yeah, I'm feeling for Luciana because I'm like her. Like she lost two totally winning positions because of time, and so it's just that's so painful.
I know. It's just absolutely devastating for some of those. And unfortunately, we ended up watching a lot of those games where that happened to Luciana. But she scored pretty well too, 17 points. We have the standings on the side there. I'm just finding somebody to raid. I think we're gonna raid Naroditsky, but I have to do it on my phone, so hang on. But with that, that concludes the sleep deprived parents bullet championship. Oh my goodness, you can tell it's been an hour of straight commentary because I can't talk anymore. Neil, thank you so much for joining me. This was really fun, and I hope maybe we converted you to try out some bullet.
Yeah, probably not, but it was a total pleasure to do this with you. It was a ton of fun, so I really appreciate being a part of this.
Yeah, I appreciate you as well. Thanks so much, Neil. If you want to stay on for just a second, I'll end stream and then we can say goodbye after that, just so I don't mess up my layout.
Go for it. Go for it.
Okay, one second, guys. Let's find somebody to raid. Hang on. Somebody in the chat said, "Don't do it, Neil." Oh yeah, and great reminder, guys. Tomorrow I'm gonna be live in about 14 hours. We are playing in Simply Divina's Olympic triathlon. So we've got another fun stream tomorrow. Um, just a great streaming weekend.
I will say, if Nate doesn't donate that money, I'm going to have some words with him.
Yeah, we're gonna have to ask him if he just totally rigged the tournament. No, I'm just kidding. Nate, of course, as all of you know, is also a Chessable author. And yeah, definitely shout out to Chessable for sponsoring the tournament, giving Nate that money to maybe donate, maybe use for some improvement of his own. Although based on his results, I don't know if he's gonna need it. GM Naroditsky. Okay, no user matching that login. I spelled it wrong. Okay, sorry guys, 1 second.
Yeah, Ben says Nate's organizing this tournament like when Phil Ivey invites you to a home game. Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Yeah, we were trying to make comparisons between the golf ones
Yeah,
and that one. Yeah, it's just
yeah.
insane. But of course, congratulations to Nate. He played some excellent games. We saw uh, lots of his wins.
Yeah, he just went to town. He just was like schooling people. It looked like when the professional team plays the high school team, but it,
Exactly. It was.
what he showed is like obscure openings plus time management equals steal your lunch money.
Yes, absolutely. He was bullying everybody, and we saw a nice game where Todd Bryant broke his
Oh, that's true.
winning streak. But most of the time, we were just seeing Nate absolutely crushing everybody. So absolutely well deserved, and he, I think, definitely proved that of the sleep deprived parents, he's at least had the most bullet practice. So with that, I think we are ready to end, guys. Again, thank you so much for joining. Thank you again to Neil, and we will see you guys soon. Bye for now.